Delanco Township Committee Meeting of October 21st, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Delanco Township Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road, Delanco, New Jersey.
Mhm.
Out there.
Yeah.
Right there.
And their
Yep.
lighting really
Yep.
did help.
Yeah, that intersection is not a problem at all now.
Yeah.
We are recording.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Township Committee Meeting for October 21st, held at 7 o'clock at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road. Can we have a roll call, please, Janice?
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Mr. Olet?
Here.
Ms. Seuss? Here. Mr. Templeton?
Yep.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mrs. Lohr, our Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Russell, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, and Mr. Tilger, the Police Chief. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The sunshine statement, please, Janice.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the January 4th, 2024 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice. Thank you.
Thank you. And I must say, to start the meeting, it sounds great in here. We don't hear that echo. How's it sound out there? Can you guys hear us better than previously? All right, good.
Good.
Right. Now that the room's put back together, we'll start with Ordinance 2024-24, amending the Township Code at Chapter 123, Governing Animals. Second reading by title only and public hearing. Hearing is open to the public for Ordinance 2024-24. If any comments or questions, approach the podium and give your name and address for the record.
Maybe they didn't hear you because
It sounds
It's
too good.
different. It does sound different.
All right, seeing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public, and I'll ask for a motion to approve Ordinance 2024-24 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kate, second by Fern. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes.
Mr. Templeton?
no.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Ordinance 2024-25, authorizing execution of a pilot agreement with RLS Real Estate of Delanco, NJ Urban Renewal Entity, LLC. Second reading by title only and public hearing. Hearing is open to the public for Ordinance 2024-25. Same rules apply. If any comments or questions, approach the podium and give your name and address for the record, please. Seeing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. And I'll ask for a motion for 2024-25.
Second.
Was a motion to approve. Right, that was motion by who was that?
Carolyn.
Carolyn, and second by Kate.
Yes.
All right. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes, and just a reminder, this is a multi-phase pilot agreement that's been ongoing for several years, and I believe this is phase 5 of it.
Mr. Templeton?
No. I've never liked pilot, these payment in lieu of taxes and tax abatements. But this is laddered off of an agreement that goes back to 2017, I believe. And I think I voted no on that one, so just continuing. No.
Okay. And Mr. Bartlett?
Voting no for the same reason. And motion passes 3-2.
Yes.
All right. Now, meeting is open to the public for comments and questions. Session number 1. If If you have any comments or questions, please, again, come up to the podium, give your name and address for the record. Meeting's open to the public, and there'll be another one later on in the meeting as well. Let's all not rush up at once. All right, like I said, there'll be another one later on. We'll close this portion of the meeting to the public, and we'll go to comments and reports. So start on my far left, Township Administrator, Richard.
Thank you. As we've received in the past from our joint insurance fund, we are entitled to dividends because of fund's success, and our share is $15,646 for 2025. There's multiple choices as to how to use it. As I've recommended each year, we take it as a credit against our 2025 assessment. By doing that, if that's what everyone agrees, the mayor can sign, we send it in, they form in, and that's what will happen. I recommend that as consistent. If we were getting significantly more or less, we might do one of the alternatives, which is getting it in the form of a check before December 31st of this year, or deposit as a future against our aggregate excess loss contingency fund, which we had issues with, but we've got them cleared, or some split. So does anyone have any objection to have the mayor sign to accept it as a dividend credit against 2025?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, so I'll have the mayor do that. We received from the, speaking of shared service, we are part of the New Jersey Sustainable Energy Joint Meeting, and that is also hundreds of municipalities who buy electric and gas from, on a group basis, and we compare it against what we'd have to pay through PSE&G. They go out to bids every X amount of years, depending on schedule. The most recent time, it's very complicated in that business, but the most recent time they're going out to bids ends up being for street lighting. That's the only one they're recommending being part of. Look at this number here. So that there's about a 5% savings by using theirs. The contract price through Approved Energy is 7.257 cents versus the alternative, which would be 7.867. So there's 10% reduction off the tariff price by going along with them. We're part of that, and unless we opt out, is what we're getting. So it's a report rather than, we don't make that decision, the Senate makes the decision, but I don't see any reason to opt out unless anybody else does. We've been doing this for a number of years, and it's worked out. The other thing is that as a follow-up to, I think, the report last meeting, the DEP approved or recommended approval of funding for remediation of 200 Ash Street. The next step in that is the funding actually comes from the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. So there's a form that I am filling out. In your bill list is a $500 check being authorized, and so that's our application fee. We'll fill out the forms and send that out. Hopefully within the not too distant future we'll get a formal approval for its $282,410 in the grant, and that's for 75% of the cost, and our engineer will be working on the specs. So I want to report that to you. I also want to report the follow-up on the state best practices inventory. Our group of finance people and administrative people got together. We went through the questions. We submitted the questions. Julie Edmondson, our finance officer, submitted them on October 18th. It's not due till the 21st. We will discuss it in detail at your next meeting on November 18th. We scored 41 points. You needed 35 to not have anything negative. It's equal or better percentage than we've had in the past, the things that we believe are correct. So you'll get a memo from us with the details on it, and it'll be on the agenda to discuss on the 18th. I think, let's see, so we've got that. Budgets are due in November, just before Thanksgiving. So any department heads are thinking about, that's for departments. The organizations have until the end of the year. And I think that's what I have. Thank you.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Richard? All right, thank you. Go to department heads. Start with the chief.
Good evening, thank you. Begin with our statistics since our, for the month of October. During the month of October, they've initiated 15 police cases. There are 53 motor vehicle stops conducted where 45 violations were issued. They handled 688 calls for service, and there were 3 adult arrests. So far this month, we've been pretty busy with training. On October 7th and 8th, I attended the FBI New Jersey Chapter's annual training conference. This year's highlights basically were going over numerous incidents that have happened throughout the country with mass shootings and so forth, and they did a nice job of, showing the pros and cons of how each case was handled. It was good material to bring back. On October 8th, the department sergeants all took the Lieutenant Civil Service examination. On October 10th, Lieutenant Warren, Sergeant Epifano, and Sergeant Deering attended a 3-day internal affairs investigation course. On October 12th, Patrolman Kearns and I attended the Delanco Township Community Day event at the Delanco Township Fire Department. It was a nice turnout. On the 14th, Patrolman Malik attended a week-long defensive tactics instructor course, and he's now certified to teach our officers the tactics he learned from the course. Today, Detective Lippick began a 2-day course for background investigations, and it's designed to assist our agency in conducting background investigations for new hires in accordance with the new State of New Jersey Police Training Commission licensing. And also, on today's date, we also conducted panic alarm testing here at the municipal buildings, court, and police departments. We had also had 0 calls for service on Hawk Island. And that's all I have for tonight.
You said 0 or 70?
0.
Okay.
0.
Good.
Chief, do you have any 308, 310 Burlington?
I'm sorry?
Regarding 308, 310 Burlington? Sergeant Maloney and...
That's next meeting, but they did, I will commend them preliminarily here. Unfortunately, everybody's aware of the house fire that occurred. I do also want to commend the fire department, EMS, and then our 2 officers, Sergeant Maloney and Patrolman Lusner. Upon their arrival, the front of the house was engulfed. They were able to locate one resident who was on the rear roof, and they were able to assist her off of the roof. And they kind of used the MacGyver skills where there's no ladder or anything available, so Sergeant Maloney and Patrolman Lusner found a chair where they utilized it best they could. Sergeant Maloney stood on it, and the victim was able to stand on his shoulders and get off the roof that way. But, because of their actions, our resident is, suffered minor, I wouldn't say injuries, but damage from smoke. But I do plan on awarding them both with lifesaver awards, and I plan on doing that for the next meeting.
For those who aren't aware, Jack Maloney also did that at the Union Avenue fire, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true.
As fast as the fire department gets out there, police department gets there half a second faster, and we're about to give Jack Maloney a application to join the fire department, I think. All right. Thank you, Chief. John's not here. Janice?
Yes, I have a few things. The first thing is, as you can see, we have our acoustical panel installation is done, and I would like to say thank you to Ken Shedeker of Public Works, very helpful with the facilities part of it, working with the contractor and everything. And also thanks to Beverly, Brandy of Sewage, and Carol with assisting getting this room put back together, and all the Public Works guys that came over this morning. They were done Friday. The lift just got picked up this afternoon. This room was in a shambles when we walked in this morning, and it's put back together because of the help of all these people, Public Works, Carol, Bev, and Brandy, who were vacuuming. Bev brought her magnetic roller thing. We were getting staples, picking up staples, and that, the cleaners couldn't, the contractors couldn't get everything, and so, and all the chairs were very dusty, and so thank you to a lot of teamwork this morning to get this room back into shape. The next thing is we have elections coming up on November 5th. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., but there are many ways to vote that voters can take advantage of. There's vote by mail. If you've signed up for a vote by mail ballot, you can get that done and back in the mail, or you can drop it off at a mail-in ballot drop box. We do not have one here in Delanco because we don't have the population that requires us to have one. The closest one would be Edgewater Park. Riverside has one for a vote by mail ballot. Also, New Jersey has early voting. You can vote early starting Saturday, October 26th through November 3rd, Sunday, November 3rd. And there are sheets out in the lobby on the table with various early voting locations, the closest one being the Willingboro Public Library. And of course, there's always in-person voting, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would encourage everyone to go early if you're going to do in-person at the your polling place, to go early, because there are new machines that were rolled out for the primary, so you only had a very small percentage of people using them. This election, there's going to be a lot of people trying to vote in person with these brand new machines, and they are very different than what you're used to. So we are anticipating lines. So if you want to vote early, do early voting. If you have vote by mail, you can still get a vote by mail ballot. I would do it in person at the county at this point rather than using the mail. But there is early voting. But if you're going to do in person at your polling place, go early. Avoid to make sure you have time to cast your vote and not have to wait in line as long. With what's anticipated for the evening hours as people start getting home from work and getting up to the polls. We have some events coming up, actually. We have the, what's first? We have a flu shot clinic this Friday, October 25th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you're having trouble getting somewhere to get your flu shot, it's not a free event. If you have insurance, bring your insurance card. Or you can pay the cost, and it is being run by Paramount Pharmacy. We'll be doing the flu shots. So if you're having trouble getting to your doctor or getting somewhere else, there is one here from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Friday, October the 25th, and Saturday, November 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Public Works Garage. You start there. It's actually a drive-through rabies clinic for your pets, dogs and cats. So if you know your dog or your cat is due for a rabies clinic, we have the drive-through clinic on Saturday, November 2nd from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And you enter over on the Public Works Garage side and drive through. Traffic will be directed. And did you want me to say something about the trunk or treat and the movie? We have trunk or treat this Saturday at the Field of Dreams, starting at 6 p.m.
Yes.
And then following the trunk or treat is the outdoor movie, starting at 8:15. I'm doing that without a sheet, so well. And any other events that I might not be remembering?
I think that's it
For now.
Okay.
You want to get that authorization for payment?
And I was going to say, last but not least, is on the dais, and I had emailed everyone earlier. Friday afternoon, we received, after the bill list and the bills were run, we received an invoice from the acoustical panel company for the payment for the project. And since we don't meet again for almost like another month till November, what is it, 18th? Our next meeting is the 18th of November. Because Election Day and then Veterans Day, closed for Veterans Day, our next Township Committee meeting is the 18th. I would like Township Committee to authorize this for payment so we can get this company paid and they don't have to wait a whole month to get their payment for the project.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We also have new microphones on order, but they're not here yet, and there'll be a longer neck and a better amplification quality. They still are recording, so hopefully that will also help with the sound issues for this room.
The same one the chief is using there.
It's like the one that
Yeah.
the chief has, which you can hear, it has a much better amplification properties to it than these other gooseneck mics. So if you can just do a motion, I'm also going to ask, but that'll be later on. So, but this one specifically, so our finance department can go ahead and get this paid to
I'll
this
make a
company.
I'll make a motion to approve the Fabritrack invoice dated October 18th for $38,618 even.
I second that motion.
All right. Need a roll call or all in favor?
All in favor is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I would ask, we may as well just do it now, that there is on your agenda, there are bill payments specific that have been run through a bill list. But again, since we only have 1 month, we have a month before the next meeting, that you authorize any payment that may become due, payable and due before the next meeting on November 18th.
Just like we did last time.
Just like school taxes have to be paid, we get county taxes, we can't, that may become due and payable before your meeting on November 18th. So is there a motion to authorize those payments?
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor is fine.
All right, Mike and Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And that's all I have. Bev, did you have anything? Okay. That's it for our reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. All right, I'll start from the Township Committee report. Start to my far left, and Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to mention Delanco's Troll. How many people here have visited the Troll at the Vine Street Park? So Hagatha was welcome to Delanco on September 24th, and she is stationed at the Vine Street Park, which those of you who have visited. She was greeted by the mayor, the deputy mayor, Phil McFadden, Al Gravo, Liz Mattisette, Fern, and myself. And the artist, Jason Miller, did the honors to have her securely placed at the park. So check her out. She's made out of recycled materials. Dysa Del Riv, I attended their September 24th meeting. The Riverdale Rebels, all three traveling softball teams were participating in tournaments. Soccer games are in full swing. I guess they may be winding up soon, but they had up 183 registrations this year. At registrations for the minis was open until the end of October. They meet again tomorrow night, so I'll have more to report, but they're very happy with the lights at the Field of Dreams. The seniors, I attended a meeting with Living Springs on Friday, September 27th, and provided them with information from Senior Citizens United Community Service and updated them on our activities in town. Shamika Stone was also present to talk about the position on the school board and what is happening in the school. There was a question and answer period, and snacks were served. And as usual, it's always an enjoyable evening spending time with the residents. The Delanco seniors met on October 9th at the Firehouse. It was a great group. The speaker was Anthony Williams from BGA Insurance Group. He spoke about Medicare and the different plans available. There was a brief question and answer period, and he also agreed to private conversations with any of the seniors in attendance. The Firehouse sales. I enjoyed my breakfast sandwich from the Boy Scouts and also the hoagie from the fire department. And I also managed to buy a half a dozen cupcakes from Randall's Rescue. So that was really nice. I kind of enjoyed those sweets. I ate them all myself, too. I can't believe that.
You're
but I did.
admitting that.
I admit that. And I always find something to trash at the Public Works event, and was able to deliver my documents for shredding, and I also brought Jones for her. So the Sewer Authority met on October 9th at Town Hall, the trunk line project. We're still waiting for DEP to close out the project. There is a slight delay with the work at the pump station. We're still working on the bypass system. Once we receive the main control panel, that work should be completed. The contractor has promised it on more than one occasion, but hopefully my next meeting it will be done. 989 Coopertown Road, there is a tenant in the building. Our engineer is still monitoring the drain and will keep us advised. Stylex, nothing new to report. 401 Creek Road, they currently have a septic system, but it appears they're interested in connecting to our system. Discussions are still underway regarding raising the tanks at the plant due to flooding. The operator's report is on file, and we did a resolution to introduce our 2025 budget. For the PTO, I did attend the Chick-fil-A event, which is always tasty, and I'm sure the PTO made out good. That was pretty crowded. Recreation, we met on October 10th. All plans were discussed and finalized for Community Day. Trunk or treat, Janice had already indicated, that's the 26th from 6 to 8, and the movie is Beetlejuice. The original one. I just watched that not too long ago. It's really funny, so I'm sure the kids and families will enjoy that. Best decorated Halloween house judging is scheduled for Sunday, October 27th. Carriage rides are scheduled for December 14th. Santa's visit and tree lighting is being held at Gateway Park on December 15th from 2 to 6 p.m. And there are 2 Eagle Scout projects in town. Replacing the flagpole at Gateway Park, Lucas Russell, and adding 2 little libraries, one at Gateway Park and another one at the Field of Dreams, Tommy Gall from Burlington. Rec decided to actually replace all the soccer nets this year. Community Day. It was a beautiful day, and everyone seemed to enjoy the outside activities for the children, as well as the groups and organizations, the displays inside. Thank God we had some nice weather. Living Springs, their management team contacted me to do some community service in town. So I referred them to John, and he was going to have them go out to the compost site and pick up some of the trash that was blowing around. Administration, Matt and I met with Janice and Richard regarding some administration and the possibility of upcoming retirements. The library, I attended the Enchanted Evening at the library, learned some ways of dealing with issues, made a craft, purchased some items, and enjoyed visiting with friends and family and neighbors. They always have great events, so check out their calendar. I know they have a vendor event coming up in November. I think it's the 14th. Is that it? Yes. It's the 14th. So they have several vendors there, and it's a nice time to go there, support the local vendors, and get to see everyone. And then many of you may have read the article in the Inquirer regarding the hunt for the alligator junior. Well, it looks like they did locate a large magnetic anomaly weighing from anywhere from 10 to 2 tons, or from 2 to 10 tons, and it could very well be the hull of the submarine that Alice Smith has been investigating for 20 years. So I do have that article. If anybody wants a copy of it, I'll be glad to send it to you. And that's all I have. That's enough.
That's it?
I'm exhausted.
Need to have a few cases.
I know it's a lot of stuff. But we all do. We all do a lot, so.
Thanks, Kate. We'll go to my far right, Mr. Templeton. Unless there's another Mr. Templeton here.
All right, thank you. Good evening, all. Try to make this quick. Let's see, back on, September 25th, Shade Tree meeting. As usual, had a lot of, actually not too many for that month. I think there were 4 or 5 issues that were resolved, and the next Shade Tree meeting is next Wednesday. Environmental Board back on October 3rd. That was mostly Community Day preparation. I attended the planning board meeting on October 1st regarding 401 Creek. So that was an interesting exercise to observe. We've got a new stormwater ordinance that will probably show up in the next meeting or two that we have to adopt. There was a choice of like the three bears, the simple one, the medium one, and the most difficult one. So I think we're going with the simple one. And like I said, that should show up on the agenda shortly. Still wrestling with there's a tree ordinance that DEP wants us to adopt. That's part of our MS4 municipal separate stormwater system. I don't know if I got all the S's in there. Anyway, this was added to it. The thing that's the hang-up is that it starts to involve the municipality in managing trees on private property. And Shade Tree Commission has been wrestling with this, administration's been wrestling with it, and so we're still trying to sort out a solution there that has us adopt this ordinance that's part of the permit renewal requirement, and yet keeps more or less the status quo. Maybe that's going a little too far, but we'll see how this works out. Fourth round, affordable housing. Mrs. Laura sent out an email, or forwarded an email with some information from the state. They released some numbers. There's a timeline through next year, 2025, as far as what the township, or various milestones that the township has to meet to enact that or comply with it. But the initial document, several Excel spreadsheets, and basically personally going through it to try to validate some of the assumptions and some of the numbers that they're using to arrive at that calculation. This was something that I was concerned about a couple of years ago when Delanco was one of 12 communities along the riverfront on the Route 130 plan endorsement project that Mrs. Martin and the planning board was helping me with, and working with Tom Stanley-Kynasyan of the county at the Bridge Commission. And as we were going through that and validating, looking at data that the state had that was in various databases, GIS system, and we found a lot of errors in what the paper said that Delanco had and what we knew what Delanco had. So we were able to make some of those corrections, but some of those databases are beyond our reach. And so anyway, I'm just trying to go through, as kind of a personal mission to try to go through and validate some of that. One of the things I'm looking at, or just got a list from our tax assessor, is one of the categories they look at is, quote, vacant land that's categorized in our tax rolls. So going through that and just validating that they don't have our parks categorized as vacant land, or someone's property that business is on or home is on is classified as vacant land, trying to catch errors like that. Whether it'll make a difference or not, I don't know, but I think it's worth the look. Check that off. Riverline meeting tomorrow night down in Palmyra. It's organized by Senator Singleton. I'm attending that. I know some other residents are going. Talk about issues with the Riverline, safety, service levels, schedules, maintaining schedules, connectivity down through the Camden junction with Patco and so forth. So there's a lot of people concerned about that. I was on a webinar back on October 3rd. It was organized by the New Jersey League of Municipalities Association that our town is part of, regarding New Jersey REAL, which is, the state always comes up with these neat acronyms: Resilient Environment and Landscapes. Hindsight's 2020. This is stuff that should have been done, or 15 or 20 years ago, but the state's, New Jersey, is actually very aggressive in trying to make adjustments to various regulations to accommodate for the weather we're experiencing and forecasting forecasted changes upcoming in the climate, sea level rise, stronger storms, flooding, things like that. So that's, the state DEP is proposing a new set of regulations, 1,000-page regulation that'll affect wetlands, freshwater wetlands, coastal flood hazard areas, let's see, Flood Hazard Area Control Act, and stormwater. So that's forecast, or the DEP timeline is to have that adopted by middle of next year, 2025, and the comment period is until November 3rd. But some big changes coming along there, and there'll probably, as always, there'll be a big discussion about that because they do want to increase the elevations on properties in high hazard areas. I think I've got about everything. One point on Haggith, the item that statue, the art piece that was put down at Vine Street Park, Liz Mattisette, member of the community, and she was the one that initiated that and spearheaded that, so she was deserved a lot of credit for bringing that into the community. And lastly, I kind of jumped the gun on regarding the fire at 810. The chief, my apologies, chief.
No worries.
But I heard the fire sirens, and then normally you hear the sirens fade out as they cross the bridge and heading into some other community. And then you hear the sirens stop, and then I smelled smoke. So anyway, I walked over to the fire scene, about, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes after the initial call and so forth. The amazing thing is we had Burlington, Riverside,
Burlington City, Bristol, Edgewater Park, Delran, Cinnaminson. Help me out here, Terry. That's right, Bristol Croydon Company, Merchantville, Willingboro.
So
there's more.
Yeah, but
Some paid, some volunteers.
yeah, kudos to our officers first on the scene to get the resident out of harm's way and so forth. But I'm looking at that scene of all the firefighters and the EMTs in their bunker gear and everything, and oxygen tanks and masks, and horrific situation. And I'm looking at all these people, and the vast majority are volunteers. And a lot of people don't understand that. The overwhelming majority of fire companies in the country are volunteer services. There are 714 volunteer fire companies in New Jersey alone. Unfortunately, those volunteer numbers are declining, and those services will probably evolve over time into a paid service and get regionalized and so forth. But it's just an amazing sight to see all those people at 4:30, 5 in the morning out there, full turnout gear, and doing their thing. And
People didn't go to work the next day either.
yeah,
They're there for the duration, so
It's-
it was a day of work.
it's an amazing sight, and it's something that the community needs to be reminded of. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike, and I have that list here, just so everyone has it. The two Beverly companies, Cinnaminson, two Delran companies, Riverside, Riverton, Willingboro, Burlington Township, West Hampton Township, Mount Laurel, Palmyra, Burlington City, the 3rd District Volunteer Fire Company, that's Bristol, Pennsylvania, Merchantville, Delran EMS, Willingboro EMS, Mount Laurel EMS, Palmyra, Cinnaminson, Riverton EMS, and the Virtua Paramedics. They're all there.
Second of the 2 alarm fire.
Yeah, it gets next level of the grid in, and yeah, it was busy. Right, thank you, Mike. Mr. Roulette.
The History Board
was busy this past month. Participated in the townwide yard sale, community day. On the 18th, returned our steel manufactured sneak box back to Tuckerton Maritime Museum for winter storage. We don't have a place here to store the boat, so they're being gracious in storing the boat for us there, and hopefully somewhere next year we'll be able to find a home for it here in Delanco and be able to keep it here. This past Saturday, we had our open house here at Town Hall, and Dorothy Robbins brought her dad's displays of prosthetic arms and some of the archive items that she had available to share with the public here. We had probably about a dozen folks show up, and Dr. Schaefer's daughter and son also were here, and apparently they were friends with Dr. Robbins and their family, so they were able to share stories going back and forth, which was nice. And then there was another couple from Edgewater Park that came over. It made for a nice afternoon. Let's see. The next event for the History Board open house will be November 16th, and it'll focus on Delanco's many military veterans. And that'll be from 1 to 3 here at Town Hall. Let's see, library. Hear ye, hear ye. Library has some events going on, and tomorrow at Boscov's, if you bought a ticket, or you can stop by the library tomorrow and get a ticket for $5, which gets donated to the library, but that ticket or coupon, take the Boscov's, and get you 25% off your purchase there between the hours of, I think they're till 11 o'clock tomorrow night. You have another event going on November 5th and 7th at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the Lego Club for ages 6 to 10. And Thursday, Kate already said this, but November 14th, their third annual vendor event from 5 to 8 p.m. To see all their activities, go to DelancoLibrary.org. And let's see, I attended a webinar for the JIF on some training there, and then last week attended the JIF meeting. And on that note, that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, Fern. This is...
Thank you, Mayor. November 30th, you and I attended the PSANG pre-conference meeting down on
November 30th, huh?
September 30th.
September 30th, okay.
There you go.
It's not Thanksgiving yet.
It's been a long day. September 30th. The pre-con meeting for the gas line replacement projects that we have going on. Learned some interesting stuff about that. They're still down on Delaware Avenue. They'll be there for another couple weeks and then move to Walnut Street area. They are doing the replacements in the ground and also meter replacements. If you have an indoor meter, they're upgrading to an outdoor meter that's required. October 1st was the Joint Land Use Board meeting for the 401 Creek Road application. I did not attend. I was unable to attend that, but I think we all know how that turned out. October 10th was the recreation meeting. Kate pretty much covered everything, just adding on to the Hagatha project. It was nice that Recreation was able to actually pay for that and be involved. Thanks to Aaron Provenzano for handling kind of all that paperwork. I know my husband was on that committee too, kind of figuring out where to put it. So I think where it is in Vine Street in the flower bed there is really nice. And I did actually buy some solar lights. There's 2 solar lights on her now, so she can be seen at night in all her blaze of glory. October 12th, by the way, she'll be there till the end of the year. And then we're going to probably put her on the trails on West Avenue, have a little troll trek out there with a little sign saying where she came from so that people can visit her as long as she is able to be seen. October 12th was Community Day. I hung out there, got to see all the residents and talk with everyone. What a beautiful day, great weather. no rain for the past month. We've had great weather. October 15th, I attended the IT meeting here with various departments to go over some ongoing projects that we have for upgrading technology in the township building, in the police department, getting some new computers, servers, and some other items. I kind of just joined that subcommittee myself. But, no, I was there instead of Matt, so I filled in for him that day. Matt was working, yes. October 16th, I attended an all-day training through Rutgers for elected officials, kind of learned what I'm really supposed to be doing as an elected official, which is eye-opening. No, it was very informative. You know, kind of learned exactly what goes on in government and where we fit into all that. So that's all I have. I'm sure there's been other stuff, but nothing that really jumps out at me.
Good thing you took that class now, almost 2 years after being on the committee.
Yeah, no, it was just
You
like
know what you're doing.
it was a refresher, and then I learned all the things that I do that I'm really not supposed to do.
But legally you can.
But legally we
Yes.
can, but just go above and beyond.
Yes.
As that squeaky wheel, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolyn.
That's in the statute.
Yeah. Squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, since our last meeting, once we get down to the end here, I'm just repeating what everyone else said for the most part, but went to Hagatha, Fire Commission meeting we had on September 24th, normal business. I attended the fire company's hoagie sale on what was to be the townwide yard sale on September 28th, but that got canceled due to the rain, but we still held the hoagie sale as well as the scouts. Did their breakfast sandwiches. We didn't do as good as always, but we turned a profit, right, Terry? Good. I attended the Hawk Island cleanup on September 29th, along with Fern and Carolyn and about a dozen other members of the public, and we easily got a truckload and a half of trash out of there.
Dump truck.
Yeah,
A dump truck.
a dump truck, not just one of our pickups, one of the Public Works dump trucks, and then we went back the next day and just the amazing sort of random things. There was a whole spool of fence out there that someone dumped. What was that? A head gasket from a car, an engine
That was in the river.
cylinder.
That was in the river.
Tires, and anything you can imagine was out there.
So many Corona bottles.
Yeah.
So many.
I actually, one of the people who were cleaning out there told me that the nickname of the part on the river
beach.
side, the beach side, that faces Pennsylvania, is called Corona Point, apparently due to that reason. I did not know that. I don't know the truth to that, but apparently that's what the locals call it.
So most of that trash is boaters' trash.
Yeah.
They're pulling up there, they're partying on the beach that we have no control over, and then dumping all their bottles and trash for us to clean up. So it's not the people that are going there to visit that are the
Nope.
problem, it's the boaters.
100%. I attended the pre-con with PSE&G that Carolyn mentioned, held the townwide yard sale and the cleanup on October 5th. I dumped a lot of stuff over at the shredding event as well as Kate did. I'm guilty of being a paper hoarder of old bills and everything else throughout the years, but it's gone now, thankfully. So thanks for administration for setting that up for our residents to bring all of their stuff to be shredded out. I attended the County Office of Emergency Management meeting on October 8th. The 12th, like pretty much everyone else, I spent it at the firehouse for Community Day. Great turnout by members of the public. I am a little disappointed to see the small plantings that the Environmental Advisory Board was giving out were sadly tossed out back in the lawn area behind the pole barn at the firehouse by the teenagers who they probably shouldn't have been given them in the first place. So hopefully a lesson learned for the EAB for next year, but it was a great thought, but sadly can't trust kids with plants. Let's see, last Tuesday, as Kate mentioned, we had the succession planning meeting regarding retirements with the administration. Last Wednesday, I attended the Board of Ed meeting. They did a presentation on the NJSLA scores from the last school year. And to be frank, and as everybody knows, they were abysmal, with the majority of the students taking them not getting the meets expectations levels. much higher than the state's average, and it was mentioned that each student affects the total percentage by about 3% due to the low number of students compared to some of the bigger districts in the state. Even more concerning is that the state as a whole, roughly only half the students are meeting expectations. So it really speaks to a much bigger issue across the state than just locally in Delanco. It's just more prominent in Delanco due to the lower number of students, but it's really a statewide issue. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention again about the house fire that occurred a week ago today. We've already talked about what an amazing job that Sergeant Maloney and Officer Lusner did with the rescue. And she's recovering. She's a long road ahead of us. Second, I'll repeat some of the comments. Awesome job by our fire department and all the mutual aid departments that came, and terrific job by our Fire Chief Scott Hamlin and Deputy Chief Lester Abrams for running command on that incident. And I think, third of all, we need to thank God that it wasn't windy until later on, because if that wind kicked up when that fire was going, I don't want to think of the devastation that could have occurred with the neighboring houses due to how close they are. And sure, the fire department would have done a phenomenal job on protecting the exposures, but that's a little too close for comfort for me. So thank God that it wasn't windy too much later. And finally, thanks to all the residents that have actually been showing support to the two families that lost everything. And between the clothing and other material donations and almost $20,000 raised between the two families on the two GoFundMes that were posted, it really shows how much people can come together when it counts. So that's all I have for my report this evening. And
Just piggybacking off of that,
Sure.
I know, are you still collecting clothes, or did they stop that?
yeah, no, there are a couple houses in town that are collecting for both families. The house right to the right of the house that burnt down, Mrs. Morano, she's collecting clothes and other essentials for the resident at 310. That's the family that has the 4 children, and I let the house on the other side use my address because they only had addresses out of town. So 310 Burlington Avenue or 1800 2nd Street for the house on the left. They're still collecting, and I hear a house on 2nd Street that does Halloween stuff is collecting canned goods out there as well.
Yeah, so this weekend we collected probably 4 big, like 20 by 20 boxes worth of food, toiletries, household items like plates, cups, like stuff like that. People really put a lot of thought into it. We're getting like shampoo and razors and, you know, like toothbrushes and stuff that, you know, they lost everything. So you figure, try to go out through your day, what do you use in your house? So it's really nice to see that. And I have all that stuff for them and ongoing till the end of the month.
And, you know, I could certainly appreciate that. When I was 15, my family, we were down camping in Tennessee, and we got a call that our house burnt down. So we came back to exactly what you see there on Burlington Avenue and had to start literally from scratch with not a darn thing. So it's great for the community to support however and wherever you can.
Is that why you're a fire policeman?
Well, one of the reasons. And Terry dragged me into the fire company and said, hey, why don't you come up here, right, Terry?
You voluntold?
I was voluntold. All right. We'll go to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Is there anything anyone needs further discussion on or wants pulled from the consent agenda?
No.
That's good.
All right, Resolution 2024-137, authorizing execution of the release of part of property from the redevelopment agreement. Resolution 2024-138, a resolution of the Township of Delanco adopting the 2024 Burlington County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Resolution 2024-139, resolution to extend the solid waste collection contract with Seaside Waste Collection, formerly South Jersey Sanitation, through the historic Riverfront Neighborhood Solid Waste Collection Program. Payment of bills for the October 8th, 2024 check run. Current fund $820,526.85. Capital Fund, $196,056.67. Unemployment Fund, $87, and the Housing Trust Fund, $140. For the October 18th check run, current fund, $106,651.60. Payroll, $179,914.05. Capital Fund, $4,974.25. Escrow Trust, $8,375.25. And the Housing Trust, $4,908.75. Approval of submitted department reports. Can I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carolyn, second by Kate. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes.
Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. Correspondence?
I have none, thank you.
Okay. Meeting is now open to the public for comments and questions. This is session number 2. If you missed it before, if you have any comments or questions, come up, give your name and address for the record. Meeting's open to the public.
Carl Tarosky, 55 Bennington Court.
Oh, it even sounds even better coming this way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's great.
As the committee knows, I've been a member of the Planning Board Adjustment and the Shade Tree Commission for many years. I've been reappointed numerous times. I look forward, if it is the Commission's pleasure, to be reappointed as long as my mental health is there and my physical health is there. And having said that, I was absent at your last meeting, but I know that you probably know I was one of the 3 negative votes to 4 positive votes on 401 Creek Road. And I am told that even though I was not present at the last meeting, that there was some discussion about the possibility of the township buying Creek Road. And I was just wondering if that is an accurate rendition of what happened, and if that's still in process.
Yes.
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 Do we know who the owners of this 401 Road Industrial LLC are?
Yeah, we
Yes.
entered into the redevelopment agreement with them, so we know them quite well.
Okay, so I assume that they will not be given permits to start the construction until this discussion is further advanced. Is that correct?
They certainly can apply for permits. They can
Right.
certainly receive permits if they choose to apply for them, but they do things how they'll do them, we'll do things how we'll do them, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle there.
And the resolution hasn't been adopted
Yeah,
yet either.
you haven't
Right.
adopted the resolution
Yeah.
yet, so.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Carl.
Thanks,
Thank
Carl.
you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, we'll close this open public meeting, open session to the public. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. And we don't need another executive session.
Question.
Go ahead.
Traffic study. I noticed that the Clark County equipment is out and about. Any idea how long that's going to take?
Well, it's out for 2 weeks.
They're set up for 2 weeks.
Yes. And then they'll have the report, by the end of the year.
Are they going to be moving it, or are they putting, because I only saw the one out here.
No, there's supposed to be 4 or 6 of
I
them.
haven't seen any but this one at all.
Yeah,
I've driven
there's-
everywhere.
I don't know why that one's out there now, but there's different locations.
Yeah.
And there's also like different types of counters too, not just
Okay.
the road ones.
Right, and I gave them quite a list of locations. So-
actually had a subcommittee meeting.
Right, and I'm sure they got my list.
Yes.
Because I sent it to Lori.
On all the majors.
As long as that bridge is on the list.
All
Yeah.
the major points, yeah, right at the end of the bridge there. And it can actually measure type of vehicle, the weight of the vehicle, if it's a truck or not, so it does actually get down to the nitty gritty. Just one side note, there was one literally directly outside here in front of the resident's house, and they contacted Mr. Fenimore, who called me and said, can we please have that moved? It kept them up all night, because it's pretty loud when you drive over it. So I had to move it in front of Stylex immediately, within the hour. So that's a little better for them. But yeah, I haven't seen any other ones. They said mid-October, so I imagine it's on the,
Because I'd like to see them, and I think, I'm far from a traffic study expert, but they should probably be all out at the same time, collecting the
Yeah.
same set of data.
Yeah, right, in a certain area.
I'll email them and ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would follow up with them.
And they were putting something out there at Route 130 and the jug handle.
Yeah, the jug
There's one out
handle,
there.
the bridge, Coopertown, there had to be at least 10 locations that I sent
Yeah.
them.
It's like 6 different counters and then 4 different other types of study mechanism. I forget exactly what
Yeah.
it's called, but it should capture everything on every end.
What we're paying for, the better.
Yeah, good.
And along with the Joint Land Use Board, we, members of the Township Committee, will be given copies.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, they should actually present it to us, I would imagine,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
part of the circulation plan, so we have to.
Yeah.
look at it anyway.
because it'll have to be approved for the master plan.
Yes.
Because it's part of the master plan too, that's another reason why it's being done. Not just for our needs and their needs, but it's part of the master plan too.
Thank you.
I just have one comment. I'd like to thank Janice and Bev for finally getting this acoustic system done, because we have been talking about this for so many years, and it has made such a difference in this room for everyone. I can hear everyone up here in the audience, and I'm sure the audience is appreciative of it, and that you can tell the difference. So thank you, Janice. From the bottom of my heart. I know it's a lot of work.
I think the real tell will be when Harry's here, though. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You had something like you were trying to say?
Well, the good news, bad news is we can't hear conversations in the back row of the room like we used to.
Yeah.
So-
Can you hear Township Committee better? You can, okay.
Do you want to hear it, Township?
Yeah.
And one quick thing before we adjourn, just to circle back regarding the traffic and also kind of regarding the fire. When the fire was going on, Burlington Avenue was closed, and people forgot how to drive apparently throughout town. So when there is a road closure, you don't drive through cones. You don't go around. We're not doing it to make your life hell getting to work. Myself and Mr. Viereck were at the intersection of Burlington Avenue and Coopertown, and then we moved up to Union, and people forgot all how to drive. You know, there are other ways out of town. It might not be convenient, but show some grace. And I'm not talking to the people in this room, because I know all the people in this room, and you guys wouldn't be doing it. But show some grace. People were living through the worst moments, and people were complaining, saying, well, I got to get to work. Okay, well, these people aren't going to have a house to go to. Let us do our jobs and put the fire out. We were there from about 5 a.m., and we didn't get out of there till about 3 or 3:30. So it was a long day for everyone, and trying to run Rob and myself over with your vehicle because you had to take 5 extra minutes and go out of the way. I'm certainly not too happy with that, and I know Rob wasn't, standing next to him there, and
He was behind you.
yeah.
He was using it as the block.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was 5:30 when you rolled up there.
But,
After I woke you up.
well, yes, I kind of slept through the first part, but yeah, just
Don't tell anyone about that.
just show some grace and, just respect, and thank you, Mrs. Hamlin, for bringing everybody food. We were very hungry and thirsty out there. And by the way, and I'm just going to bring this up only because it was said when they were passing me. One person said, who wasn't happy that I redirected them, I'll remember this in November. If you want to not vote for me because I made you go out of the way, Don't vote for me.
I don't want you
Thank
to
you.
vote anyway.
Thank you. With that, motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Anyone want to say? I'll second that. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.